We're here.
We are here. We are back.
You are back.
I am back.
We are back. You are
We're
back.
Everybody's back.
And it's March 15th, where we are going to talk about the present is all we possess.
Present is all we possess. Makes total sense.
Let's get into it. Marcus Aurelius has a quote for us today, and it's a longer one, so stay with me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But also, stop me if we need to break something down.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Can we turn off the heater?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Is that better for you?
Probably sound-wise. No.
Okay. Were you to live 3,000 years, or even a countless multiple of that, keep in mind that no one ever loses a life other than the one they are living, and no one ever lives a life other than the one they are losing. The longest and the shortest life, then, amount to the same, for the present moment lasts the same for all, and is all anyone possesses. No one can lose either the past or the future, for how can someone be deprived of what's not theirs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, essentially, all we have is present moment, and then if there is no future or past, because we don't have access to them right now, or really never, then it's irrelevant of like how long somebody lives or how short somebody lives. It's not necessarily about the length, because there is no length, because it's only this present moment. And in this present moment, the length idea is kind of starts to lose its meaning or something.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have anything else to say about that. You want to read Ryan?
Let's do it. Yeah. I have more things too, perhaps, that's coming up, like it's something like knowing that, it's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
How come?
Well, because it's like, then there's like, well, what, you don't plan your future, or you don't really pay attention to what you lived through and try to kind of use the information because it doesn't exist. But maybe the information exists in present moment. You can remember of how it was, and so you can use that to make decisions today, or help you, through this present moment. Everything that we lived up to this point is kind of contributing into how well we're living through this present moment, or something. And then, but then also this future of like, oh, well, I'm trying to set some goals. Again, it's this goal setting of like, I set my goals, and then, but I can only live now in this present moment. Therefore, it's like, why am I in this present moment thinking about some goals in the future? So that's where that's where it's kind of scary of like, well, hold on, like if I can only live in this present moment and there's really nothing else I can actually experience, then what is this life about when I'm always thinking about what happened in the past or what will happen in the future, right? Yeah.
I mean, thinking is always pointing to something that is either in the past or in the future or hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll think about something that is just, it doesn't exist, period, but it's like a thought experiment or something. And so I'm seeing like the act of thinking about the future as different than is different than what I'm reading as being said here, which is mostly that we know life is more complete or less complete than another life. No matter how many years one life has been lived or how few years another life has been lived. And although that might be difficult to like wrap your head around, when you look at it through the idea that all we have is the present, that is always moving through this thing, and then we have impressions in our thoughts that are memories of the past, and we have ideas about the future that are also thoughts in our head. Everybody has the same present moment, even if it was a young person who died or something like that versus an old person who died.
And all of those lives, all those people had access to is only this present thing.
Yeah.
Even though in this present thing, they are imagining future or reminiscing on the past, they don't actually have access to that future or to that past, only to this present moment of imagining about those two worlds. But there's really no other access to those worlds except like that. And then at the same time, we're not realizing that we are doing that in this present moment of trying to be in those two worlds, always trying to be in those two worlds, or not trying, but just finding ourselves in those two worlds.
And I don't hear in this particular passage like a value judgment on that.
Like that's a bad
thing.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing. But it's also, it is a bad thing if we're not realizing that that all of it is happening only in this present moment. So that shifts like how you look at it. Maybe you don't understand it. I don't necessarily say that I understand it, but there's like a lightness to it, like, oh wow, like that's kind of cool. Like it's different than this future and then the present. There's this other aspect of it, which is connecting them together or something.
I'm not totally sure I followed everything that you just said. Can you say it in a different way? Like give me the summary of what you just said, but like take it different words.
Different words are that the being in thinking about the past or being in the state of thinking about the future are not bad states. What might be, in quotes, a bad is not realizing that there is this third state of now, where in now is where we experiencing the state of the past or the state of the future. It only is happening now, and a lot of us are not realizing it. And even if you realize it, you might not realize it. Kind of be aware of it all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So
you just
almost
like let yourself being lost in the future, or let yourself being lost in the past without knowing that it's somehow connected to this moment. And this moment doesn't have, this moment doesn't really have that past or that future in it.
Okay.
Something
so
like that.
so like this moment, maybe it's like this moment based on how you described it. I'm thinking now this moment is almost like a substance or something. It's like the medium within which our experience exists. It's like
I
the
like that.
medium of it.
I like the medium.
And then the thoughts of the past and the future are the thoughts that are moving through this medium. So it's possible to have the thoughts and be swept away with them and not notice that there's a medium through which the thoughts are flowing. Or there's a way of being aware of the medium plus the thoughts.
Plus the thoughts, yeah.
And
And when you're aware of the medium and plus the thoughts, inside of me, I go like, oh, it's okay to have all kinds of crazy thoughts.
yeah.
Because it's not, those thoughts are not like the only thing there. I see they're somewhere appearing or something. They're not like me or something. So then that gives me this like distance from like being so in them or something. Having the awareness of the substance and the thoughts. Yeah. But it's okay even if because it's like I don't want to sound like it's not okay to be in one or the other or in any of this, right? Like it's all okay, but I experience better. I feel better when I am aware of both.
Yeah, it's okay that life has been what it has been to this point. And now there is a choice of how to move forward, and I want to move forward in a self-improvement route.
Yeah.
So it's not okay for me to make the same choices that I made that got me into bad situations or produced bad outcomes in my life. It's my job to learn about that and make better decisions so that my outcomes improve. But it's definitely okay that the past is what it is.
Yeah.
Cool. There's a lot in there.
I really like that. I mean, that's a big topic of the present moment or the now.
And what it even means, because I hear the word present or presence a lot without an accompanying definition. I like that definition of like it's the medium within which experience occurs. And then past and future actually just thought components that are moving through that medium. That is like super gelling with me right now.
That's good.
I'd be interested to know if people listening to this have other...
Let us know what you guys
if
think.
you have like a different definition for presence, being present, what is the definition that you would want in the dictionary? That's what we want to know. You want to listen to Ryan? Okay. Here we go. Today, notice how often you look for more. That is, wanting the past to be more than what it was. Different, better, still here, etc. Or wanting the future to unfold exactly as you expect, with hardly a thought as to how that might affect other people. When you do this, you're neglecting the present moment. Talk about ungrateful. There's a saying attributed to Bill Keane, the cartoonist, worth remembering. Yesterday's the past, tomorrow's the future, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. This present is in our possession, but it has an expiration date, a quickly approaching one. If you enjoy all of it, it will be enough. It can last a whole lifetime. Okay, dokie.
No, it's I'm looking at it like he's talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
What we talked about, present, being more aware of that all of this is unveiling here and now. In this moment, and that moment is continuously shifting and shifting and shifting, but we have access to that shift and newly shifted now or something, and not to the old one or the ones that haven't come yet.
And maybe that's what it also is too, is like noticing how quickly the present becomes the past.
So fast. You can't, and it's so interesting because you have this tendency of want to assign time to it. I do, right? I have this like, oh, it's like a second, or it's like, no, it's like a half a second.
You want to measure it.
And then you want to say like, no, it's moving like a 60 frames per second type of, like a very detailed type of a movie, but it's actually like I don't even know if there's time in it, because it's always just now. There is no.
Yeah, time I think is maybe an approximation.
Time is only like a trying to explain the movement of the now through that medium or something, right?
And so I'm liking this of like you're neglecting the present moment when you want the past to be more than what it was, different, better, still here. And that's so the past is actually so close to the present moment that it's almost like anytime I'm like, shoot, damn, like those reactions, it could just be stubbing my toe, but it moves from the presence into the past so quickly, and then the reaction happens of sort of like wanting to push it away. I wanted it to be different than what it was. And so then also with the future, and how the future turns into the past so quickly too, wanting to be able to control it. Wanting to be able to control all of those outcomes. And so that's actually what they mean by neglecting the present moment, when you're trying to change what reality has served up for you. And meanwhile, now you're focusing on that, what reality, what life has brought you that you don't like. And so you don't have energy and attention to put into your own power of, well, how am I going to respond to this? And so you need your energy for that response, the like, how am I going to respond to this? And that means taking the present moment, and as the future turns into the past, like this movie in front of you, it's this acceptance. What am I going to do about it? Acceptance, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to... And it's about the response to it. And I don't sometimes trust myself that I know how to respond to it. But I also don't give myself... because I'm focusing actually on the things I don't like that life served up to me. So of course I don't trust myself that I can respond well to it, because my attention isn't where it needs to be. It needs to be on accept what happened. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I like it. It's also like an action item, really. There was another thing that I was thinking about, like when, like, let's say Super Bowl, maybe even like Super Bowl, or let's say even like a soccer, like something that happens every 4 years, right? Like
the World Cup.
The World Cup, like it's like these people are trying to get to this place of winning the World Cup. And what is the winning of World Cup? Like, when does the winning of World Cup happens? It's not at the point where you score the first goal of that last game.
Or the last goal.
Or the last goal of the last game. It's not even, it's until that whistle blows and that says, they whistle the whistle at the end, and now you are the winner. And now, how long does it take for you to be remembering the moment when you won? It's almost so instant. You might be like, we won, yay, you hug people, like it's so short-lived, that present moment. And that's when people say, I want to enjoy this moment, and they're looking around and they say, I'm in this moment, and all of this reality is pouring in that we won. And by the time they're maybe walking through the hallways into the lockers, it's like, wow, that's amazing how we won. It's almost in the past. And so like this 4 year of training and getting to this, and luck and all of this stuff to get to that moment that really happens super fast. And that's how every moment happens. It's just so highlighted for everyone to see that moment, that's where you can really kind of realize it. Like, oh my God, that's so fast how it, like, you the uncertainty, I might not win, you have won. You won. Yay, you have this reaction, and now this the second the reaction is subsiding, now it's in the past.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I experienced that with like kind of like accidents, you know, like a stubbed toe, or like let's say I put on a smoothie and it like explodes everywhere. I'll have that same, or whenever I hurt myself, like there's like this moment when it, like let's say like when you accidentally dislocated my knee. There's a moment where it's like, my knee's fine. My knee will never be the same again. And it's so fast through that whole thing that's when I really kind of, time gets really screwy with me, and I'm just like, really, like 30 seconds ago, things were just one way, and then now it's a completely different reality. And the truth of the matter is that it's actually always like that.
And then I relocated back.
Yes, let's not
leave the knee dislocated.
We
relocated
the
kneecap back, and then 30 seconds later, that whole pain of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Is now solved. Now it's like, okay, I gotta ice my knee. Now it's more of like a recovery thing. But that whole incident, it's like so fast. You can't even. You almost. It's like it's hard to be almost in it. But those moments are now. All of these moments are those same moments. Which is nothing crazy is happening for us to go, oh my God, my knee is dislocated. How quickly this moment is moving. But it's all moving. Right. Yeah, it's all just going. Man.
May I share one more thing before you wrap up? Okay, on the knee thing, because I think this is a good example. That was the second time I dislocated my knee. So the first time I dislocated my knee was, I don't know, like 10 years earlier or something. And that one I went to the ER and it was out of place for a couple of hours. And versus the time that it happened with you actually were the one that pushed it back into place, and I sort of helped you through it based on my memory of what the ER doctor did. And it was interesting because the second time I remember having this very clear mind through the whole thing. Like, I realized it was dislocated. I registered what happened. I was like, okay, this is reality. Like, you have a limited amount of time to act. So be very diligent here with your next steps. And I gave you the instructions, right? I was like, pull my ankle, straighten my leg, push this thing back. And you were following my instructions. And so we moved into this very sort of like accept reality and then make a good response. Mm-hmm. But the first time that I dislocated my knee was this sort of, you weren't there for it, but it was a totally different experience where I was like kind of trying to like, poor me, or like, oh, like, I don't like this. How could this happen? Like, what's going to happen to my knee? Like, it felt so much more like this. And I don't know exactly, you know, what the difference is between it, but like definitely like how I moved through it, the outcome was different because the first time the healing process was just a lot more belabored and a lot more like self-pity and just like feeling bad about myself, versus the time that when it happened with you, it was like super streamlined. It just felt like minimum drama. This is already dramatic enough. Let's not add more on top of it. And then the outcome ended up being way better. So it like just took less time and all of this kind of stuff. And so I like that I'm seeing it now for the very first time, which is kind of the evidence that accepting the present moment and taking a moment to have like a clear response to it produces way better results than doing it the other way.
Like having a different relationship with the present moment is lets you go through hard things easier or something.
With better outcomes.
Better outcomes.
Yeah, easier and better outcomes for sure. Yeah. That's
Good
really
one.
cool.
Very good one, man. Today was a good one, for sure.
Cool. We had to dig for it a little bit.
Makes you scratch your head. Awesome.
All right, we'll see you
Cool.
tomorrow.
Bye.